to the presentation area. We're starting in 2 minutes. Yes. All right, let's go. Poznaš. All right, everyone, grab a beer and let's come to the presenting area. Let's move on. There's gonna be time for that. All right, I think we can start actually. So welcome everyone here and obviously on the stream as well. It's so nice to see you here. So today we're gonna be, I'm gonna be super short and we're gonna move on to first talk. So today we want to talk about side projects. Is it fun or is it business? So why do people even work on side projects, right? Some probably do it for, well, extra income. Some do it to help out the community around. So I'm super glad we have Česko Digital speaker here as well tonight. And some probably just do it to try out new things that they don't do in their daily jobs. So I'm actually one of those people, right? I keep creating those repositories with small projects. Most of it is open source. There's some more inside of some organizations and stuff. So yeah, I'm one of those people for sure. And I actually even tried to go and monetize some of those projects. I wouldn't call it financial success, but yeah, so that's why I'm here to kind of learn from the speakers how to do it better and maybe how not to do it as well. We'll see. But yeah, if you go there, check it out, maybe buy a license as well. Plan for tonight. So we have 3 speakers. We're gonna have some breaks in between them, 5, 10, 15 minutes maybe, we'll see. We didn't even try to put times there because we never make it on time. First up is Daniel, and he's from NextMatter, and he's gonna be talking about side project things you hate but should know. Then Marten Meikop is next. Everyone just calls him Meikop. And he's from Estonia, from Pipedrive, actually. He's a boss of my boss, I would say. And he's gonna be talking about the story of from school project to the biggest mind game website in Estonia. And as the last one, we have Eva from Česko Digital talking about purpose-driven projects. Super fun. Now, some organizational stuff. Well, beer is on a tap, food is on the table. There's some lemonades for people that drive later on. Toilets, ladies are right outside of the office, and gents are around the corner. What else is there? Right, we have Slido prepared. Don't worry about the link. It's always somewhere displayed. But yeah, if you have a question, just put it there already, like up front, because it takes time for the stream to show up and all of that stuff. So yeah, put it there right away. And remember to upvote questions if you want to get to them. What else is there? Right. Last but not least, we have a slight change of plans. We plan to go to Kasarna for kind of after party, but we figured it's too cold nowadays to kind of be outside. So instead, we're actually going to move to the other side of the office where we have a bar here in the office, and we stocked up on some nice alcohol, and we have two of these guys creating some nice cocktails for you as well. Yeah, there's gonna be a menu and all of that, some virgin cocktails as well if you want that. What else is there? I think that's it actually. So yeah, let me welcome the first speaker, Daniel. As The name might, or surname might suggest, this is very personal for me. We go way back. We've met in the 90s, actually, but we didn't speak for first few years of our friendship. So yeah, welcome my brother to the stage. And fun fact about him is that he actually lost 30 kilos recently. So that's good, but too bad because there could have been much more of him on the stage now. Good luck.
Right. Working? Not working. Is it working?
Yes.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So thanks. Yeah. I'm gonna be talking about side project things you hate but should know. This talk is gonna be probably most relevant for people that want to start a side project or are already in progress. That's also fine. But there might be some useful tricks for anybody. It's mainly about some things that you should know when you want to become legit and make your side project a business. Right, what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to introduce myself a little bit more and the side project in question. I'm going to be talking about some caveats during naming of your brand and one lesson that I learned, which might be useful. I'm going to be talking about going official and what you might need for this. And later I'm going to talk about one lesson that I learned about VAT and some fun regarding this caused by Czech legislation, and more people probably have experience with that. And last, I'm going to finish it with some tips and tricks that might be useful, whether you're just starting with your side project, even if it's not a legit business yet or is not supposed to be for some time. Right, so a bit about me. As my brother already said, my name is Daniel Marchuk, and in case you want to reach me after the talk, there is my email and LinkedIn, so feel free to send a connection request. I always like to connect with interesting people. So and what am I doing these days? So right now I'm leading and building one of the engineering teams at NextMatter, which is a Berlin-based startup. We recently raised $16 million Series A, and we are working on an all-in-one operations platform. This investment is pretty much for expanding into the US market. And about the side project in question. So me and my co-founder, we wanted to try building a product from the ground up. We've never done it. We've always worked in some companies. And we were thinking about creating a job board, which is not owned by LMC. Some people that know what LMC is, they basically own all of the job boards in the Czech market. I think it's pretty much a monopoly. Some recruiters joke about this sometimes. And yeah, it also was quite natural because we were not satisfied with job boards on the market. From the hiring side, my co-founder, he was a bit frustrated with the current job boards that we have on Czech market because of some options and just lack of clarity of the information that you might provide to candidates. And me, I was a bit frustrated from current job boards from the hiring side. These were screenshots from the side project that I'm talking about. Yeah, this is like from the candidate side. The first lesson that I'm going to be talking about is about naming your brand. Ideal name can be thought of later, in my opinion. You don't need to have a great name already in the beginning. The most important thing is just to start with some designs, with some code, whatever you want to do, but just start doing something. Because the ideal name can come to you later, and also, some companies when they start as a project, they just create a random name like Project Manhattan, for example, and then this means that if you actually need to change the brand name, you don't actually need to change anything in the code or in your internal documents. Ideally, the naming should be short and memorable, obviously. Our project was originally named geeks.cz. And what we did, like we really liked it. It was short, memorable. It was really great, in my opinion. So what we started doing was buying plenty of domain names for German market, Finnish market, anything that we could come up with. Because we were like, yeah, let's do this. We were really motivated, and we will expand very soon into other European markets, into the US as well. And you might have guessed what happened. So yeah, we bought like 10 of these domain names, one of them even from a different person. It wasn't like crazy amount of money, but it could have definitely been spent better. And then we discussed with our lawyers, and they told us to change the brand name. And the reason for this is trademarks. This is the lesson that I'm going to be talking about with the naming. Basically, before you go and try to register your domain name, just check on this website for European Union and this website for the US market, because those will tell you whether there are, for your brand name, whether there are actually some already existing trademarks. You can see there, for example, that some of those are dead already, some of those are live. And one important thing when you're checking for these trademarks, this is, for example, a screenshot from the European Union site. It's actually, you don't have to be sad if you actually find like 100 records for your name that you would like, because there's also this classification with the arrow there. And this basically means that, there can be geeks, but for clothing, or for retail. But if you want to work on some software product, it's actually completely fine, because this classification wouldn't be in there. But our lawyers checked it, and there were like tens of records specifically for hiring services and software products. So we couldn't, like, they basically told us that if we want to get a trademark at any point in future, it's probably going to be impossible. Yeah, so that's one of the lessons about going official with your side project. My one of the main things that I would recommend is create a company. Definitely create a company. Do not start your side project as you as an individual or anything like this, because it has one huge advantage besides some others, and that's the limited liability. You have limited liability companies. In Czech, it's called SRO. And this is very important, because if you mess up something, if you forget something in your documents, in your contracts, and you actually get sued, you will get sued just for the assets that the company has. And that's the liability that you have, not your own assets. Because if you would be sued as yourself, you might actually lose your house or stuff like that. So that's basically why people create companies. So this would be my recommendation. It costs around 10,000 crowns. And it's quite trivial through some services like Jake and James, which I've used in the past, but there are more. With Jake and James, it was quite good, because they also offer you immediately office address, which is required from you. And it costs like 10,000 with them, with the office address included for the first year, if you don't want some fancy address in the Prague city center. And some important documents for software products. You're very likely going to need a privacy policy and terms and conditions. So privacy policy is for handling user data, GDPR, and terms and conditions. It's like a service agreement. It's like a contract between you and your customer. These are probably the two most important ones. You always have to like check when you register somewhere. You always have to check that you agree with this, right? So I think most of you know this. Ideally, they would be handled by lawyers, but this would be at least 15,000 from my experience. So just probably don't go ahead immediately and buy this from lawyers, because there are templates available, and they might be sufficient in the beginning. Because 15,000 might be a bit steep for some people starting business. So I would recommend just maybe use these templates. Right, so VAT. As probably some of you know that in Czech Republic, or in general in European Union, you can be VAT non-payer or VAT payer. Both of these have some advantages and disadvantages. I couldn't say if one of these is bad or the other, because it depends also on the stage that your company is in. So I just listed some of the advantages and disadvantages here. As you can see in the table, there's like if you are a VAT payer, you have to send monthly reports. This is required, and with this you have additional costs because usually like an accountant would be doing this every month. But as a VAT payer, you are buying goods and services without VAT. So if you have a lot of computers, a lot of equipment, a lot of contractors that like an accountant, you will actually be buying all of this without the VAT, which is a great advantage. But as I recently found out about some other thing, which is called identified entity. I'm not sure if the translation is the best, but in Czech it's called identifikovaná osoba. And this is like a third stage that you can be in, which is basically you get all of the disadvantages, but none of the advantages. You will be sending monthly reports. You will have additional costs, but you will always be paying everything with the VAT, and you can't deduct it. Why I'm talking about this is because I learned this. I learned about the identified entity in a bit of a hard way. So you become identified entity at any point when you pay a bill outside of Czech Republic, or you're getting paid outside of Czech Republic from some EU member country. If it's US, if it's UK, it's actually fine, which is a bit of a paradox that it's actually a bit easier to do business with China than with Germany. And why I'm talking about this is especially relevant for starting a business, because you might be paying for Facebook ads or Google ads, some of these services, and they send you an invoice from Ireland. So even if you pay €10 worth of Facebook ads, you actually become this identified entity. It doesn't matter if you registered anywhere, you just became one, and no, they will not care whether you knew about this or not. Yeah, I learned about this the hard way. Do not postpone this, because I just, by random chance, I just read about this, and then I figured, okay, yeah, so this is actually my case. I paid some Facebook ads a year ago, and this meant that you actually have to pay VAT for that whole year back with some fines. It's not like crazy fines, so you would have paid this VAT anyway. But it's still unpleasant, and authorities don't look very good at this. So definitely, check this. Ideally, if you have a good accountant, they would already tell you about this when you send your yearly statement. And finally, some tips and tricks from me from creating a side project. So first of all, take care of yourself. That would be the most important one. And if you would have to take like one thing from today's talk, this would probably be it. Definitely get enough sleep, as the cute dog there. And yeah, good food and exercise. Doesn't have to be like a gym every day. Probably it's fine if you just go for a walk every day. But just don't forget about these things, because what happened to me, for example. I just, got sick. Nothing like serious, a flu. But I was basically working like every day out of the week. I came back from work, then I was working until like 2 or 3 a.m. and then I just went back to work in the morning. And I did this a couple of days in a row, and this just takes it all on you. So definitely always remember to take care of yourself. Even though I understand that working on the side project can be really exciting, believe me. Yeah, another tip would be some of you will know this website. It's called Hacker News. It's like this forum where people post interesting topics and then comment on them. But why I'm mentioning this is because it's from Y Combinator. For those of you that don't know, Y Combinator is like the most famous startup accelerator in the world. And my recommendation would be to go to startupschool.org and just register there, because they have really great things in there, like this startup school curriculum. They have really good talks in there, like how to plan an MVP, how to talk to users from really, like best people in their area of business. Yeah, some really interesting articles. For example, if you want to get some some information on how to split equity between the founders. They have good articles on this too from Michael Siebel there. And they also have this weekly updates section. As you can see, I'm not really good at this because my last weekly update is from February last year. And yeah, this might be helpful to some people because every Sunday you get a reminder about this. That you should submit your weekly update. What have you worked on in the past week, and what are you going to work on in the next week? Because it just helps keeping track during a busy life with work and everything. And yeah, then they have this forum, which is also very good. You can ask for feedback in there. If you want to check, like, are these designs good? Try posting it there. I think some people will just reply. This is what happened in my case. But the most important thing in Startup School is this screen. It's a screen where you get the deals and discounts for services like AWS, Google Cloud, DigitalOcean, Azure. I'm not sure about the other ones, but with AWS, you get $5,000 in credits just for explaining your business. And for a starting project, it can be years of hosting services. And on AWS, they have plenty of good stuff that you can use. With Google Cloud, I think it's also probably like $3,000, something like this. DigitalOcean, also something similar, I think. But definitely, this is one of the best things there, because we are actually still not paying for service even a dime, because AWS just handles this for us. And another thing that you get from these deals is that you get a Stripe Atlas for $250 instead of $500. What this does is it creates a company in Delaware, which might be really good for you if you actually want your startup to become global very quickly. Because if you are looking for investors from the US, they will actually still want you to be incorporated in Delaware. They will not let you be a Czech company usually. And this has many reasons: taxes, some other legislative stuff. But just a disclaimer: I've never tried this one. But if you do, just let me know definitely, because I'm planning to use this for my next side project for sure. If it's supposed to be something global, just don't do this if you plan to create an e-shop for Czech Republic, because then you would actually be an entity in the US, which is supposed to work only in Czech Republic. So definitely check with your accountant if it's actually okay to do this first, but I would recommend this one. Yeah, so just a summary of my talk. Definitely create a company. Do not do this. Do not do side project business as you yourself. Check for trademarks before registering any domain names. Get a good accountant for sure. Take care of yourself. Never forget about that. And yeah, definitely go and sign up at startupschool.org, because you will be able to get a lot of useful content, and also you will get the deals that I talked about. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Nice. Very good. Can we get slide? Nice. All right, it's already there. I think the first question is actually not for you. So will the presentation be available after the talks? Yes, it's going to be on YouTube, and the presentations, we're going to post links there in the description too. I'll make a note about that. And I was expecting the, oh, okay. So Lukáš is asking, do you create a dedicated time slot for the side project, or do you work on it when there's time?
That is a great question. I heard a lot of recommendations for creating dedicated time slots, but it just doesn't work well with the schedule that I have. I've never been like this person that plans everything very well. So when I have some time, I would just work on it. And it's also, like, the bad thing about this is that it also depends a lot of motivation when you're actually motivated to work on it. So I would say time slots might actually work way better for the progress on the side project. But yeah, I've just never learned to work in that way. I basically just, when I have time between the work or something else, I would just go ahead and work on it. It's like, for me, it's also fun, right? So it's that's how I think about it as well. That if it's not that fun, I just don't want to work on it, because you can do other stuff. Plus, after 8 hours or 7 hours of work every day, it might not be the best to work on something that you don't like.
Nice. Yeah, that's true for sure. I was expecting this question. So how did you manage to lose 30 kilos? Great job, by the way.
That is a good question. Mostly intermittent fasting, better food in general, and then exercise and just movement and a lot of sleep. That's probably the first thing that I should have mentioned, because even if you eat well and you actually exercise a lot, it didn't work for me unless I got at least 8 hours of sleep every day.
Nice.
But it's different for everybody, to be honest. So you just have to try what works for you.
Bit off topic, but I think it's useful anyway. So do you see yourself switching to working job box full time?
That is a really good question. I could see myself doing that, but probably not yet. I might be ready to just create my own company already and just work full time on that, but I'm not sure about this yet. I wouldn't be probably as confident. So like my view on this is that I would like to get more experience and only then switch to something mine.
Just sell it to LMC. Okay. Is there any other questions? Maybe from audience, actually. Then I have one more actually as well. So how long did it take you to kind of go public, go live?
It took like 2 years actually, which is one of the things that I should have mentioned maybe as well. Don't wait with the launch too long. 2 years, it was like on and off. So there was a break for 6 months and stuff like that. So it wasn't really that we were working on it for 2 years and just then launched. But yeah, ideally just launch it as soon as possible. It depends also on the competitive environment. As I said, there's like LMC and all of their job boards. So you can't really just launch something like a basic website. You have to have something more than the other websites. But if it's something like I don't know, some not that competitive market, then yeah, just launch something after a month maybe.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Cool.
Okay. Any
Thank
more
you.
questions? If not, okay, then
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now next one will be Marten Meikop, but let's have a 10-minute break. Grab a beer or something in 10 minutes. All right, let's move on to next talk in 1 minute or 50 seconds. All right, we're about to start. Grab a beer. Let's come to this area.
Check.
Nice. Okay.
That's too loud, maybe.
Cool.
Okay.
So that works. Next up is Meikop, who is Director of Engineering in Platform in Pipedrive, and AKA boss of my boss. And fun fact about him is actually he's a bit of a celebrity around this office, and I'll just let him explain the rest.
Yeah, well,
Good luck.
actually,
Can you move? Yeah.
it's kind of a deja vu moment for me. Because 2 weeks ago, I was here, standing at the same place, holding the same microphone, but singing to this karaoke. So, weird stuff happens in Prague. Anyway, I am here to talk about my hobby project, Vinta.ee, which is Estonian mind sports website, and I have been building this site for quite a while, 16 years. I am going to tell about I'm going to tell about some milestones, about a special event I'm organizing for Estonian school children. We'll show you some stats. We'll try to explain why on earth have I been doing this for so long time. And then maybe some next ideas I'm having with this site. And we will probably skip the demo. You can open this site on your mobile browsers later and explore yourself. So it all started as it usually does. I went to high school, started to learn coding, and started to play online draughts or checkers. The site I was playing at was closed in some years, and I went to university, and I decided that, hey, I will create my own online draughts playing system. And actually, I did 6 courses, a bachelor's and master's thesis with the same project at that university. I created already a couple of games, so a framework out of it. And in the end, invited some of my classmates to join me, and then we launched this site. We used Java server, applets, and then PHP, and we started with 3 games. Thanks to the Wayback Machine, we can see how horrible the site looked in 2007. Let's not stop here for too long. This is ugly. First milestone was 2010. We were adding just games. We didn't have any money to advertise ourselves. But around 2010, we discovered that, well, the technology we chose, Java applets, is actually dead. And fortunately, we didn't choose Flash as well, because that technology is also dead by today. But there were already people talking about WebSockets, And so this was basically the first rewrite of the front end. We used jQuery UI, but the site wasn't responsive. We started to ask for some donations, and we're thinking about a freemium model. Basically, we introduced online tournaments, and if you wanted to create your own tournaments, you needed to pay us a little bit, but that was basically nothing. We identified ourselves as this professional mind sports website, and one cool thing I implemented during that time was actually online Sudoku solving, and I used the help of my good friend Tiit Funk, who actually became the world champion in Sudoku solving in 2016. So he gave me pretty good insights. I mean, we needed to generate online Sudokus on the fly, and it was pretty difficult for me to say whether the Sudoku is difficult or easy to solve, and then he helped me out a lot with that. And the site looked something like this, a little bit better, but still a lot of information, and the graphics was really bad and you couldn't use it on mobile. In 2016, this was a strange year. I did my own startup. Of course, it failed. I was unemployed for half of the year. I took my kids and went to countryside for half of the year, and I coded a lot. And what went well was that I introduced some really popular card games, in Estonia at least, called Sasku, 1000, Bismarck, which had been played in Estonia for like decades, but no way to play it online. And the idea behind it was that if we get those popular games out, people will come and actually start playing some more serious games like chess and checkers. What happened was that all those chess and checkers players went to play cards, which wasn't the intention. So I figured that no, we are not doing that. I put a limit to those card games. Basically, you can play 3 games per day for free. If you want to play more, you need to pay. And people started to pay. Like the revenue growth was 4x during that time period. And also, I started to write the most complex algorithm I have ever written, like online crosswords generation. And I'm pretty satisfied how it has turned out so far. Maybe there is something unique in the world, even in that. And yeah, those are basically man hours played 2015 versus 2016. So the usage doubled, revenue growth was pretty good. So I guess at that point I realized that there is something actually coming out of this project, and we won't like kill it. If you remember, I mentioned I invited 3 of my friends in 2007. 2 of them lost interest in 5 years, the third one in 10 years. So by 2020, I was basically alone. I bought them out on paper. And actually, some friends were like telling me that if you will become a single owner, you will have this shift in mindset. You will start thinking differently. And yeah, well, it happened. Corona happened, first of all. People started to contact me. Estonian Draughts Federation wanted to have a special functionality. They found even money to pay me. And during that time, I realized that this Estonian market is too small. I want to be visible outside of Estonia as well. But that required a third rewrite of the front end. So basically, it took me 1 year to rewrite the PHP part. I had already some money to pay for the HTML and CSS for design, basically. And in 2021, I rewrote the game room, which was previously in jQuery, but I rewrote it in vanilla JS and TypeScript. Also, funny thing happened last year. Othello, a popular board game in the world, like, I don't know, 50 sites at least in the world where you can play it online. But World Othello Federation contacted me and told me that I might have the most professional functionality, meaning tournaments, formats, user profiles, rating systems, that they want me or this Vint.ee to be the official like partner where people play Othello. Also, they found some money, and then they implemented some special stuff for them. So it was pretty exciting for me. And yep, the site looks currently like that, front page, and then the game room you can explore later yourself. Now, in 2011, I figured that, okay, I have this site, but can I do actually something really useful with it? Like make the world a better place type of thing. And I started to organize tournaments, online tournaments for Estonian school children to get them to play chess and checkers, and then by that developing their logical thinking, concentration, and all that stuff. And I have been doing it for 10 years now. And in 10 years, 4,500 students have participated from 167 schools. Next round is starting in November this year. Participation is free. There is no money in it, but it's really cool to see that you have built actually something useful and that people like to use it. Some screenshots random. If you Google Mind Sports Olympiad in Estonia, you will get some pictures taken from schools, kids playing in Vint.ee. So, some stats. I have spent over nearly 7,000 hours on the developing that site. Almost 90,000 lines of code. And I can even provide you a graph in which year how many hours did I put into that project. As you can see, it kind of resonates, I guess, with my personal life, challenges at work. 2020 and 2021, I actually took time off from Pipedrive vacation days just to code. And I actually really liked it. This year has been worse. I have a lot of new challenges at work. But let's see what the future brings. As of today, we have 27 games, a lot of tournaments played. Last year, we had over 100,000 unique users based on Google Analytics. And the games played, this count is in millions by today. And also, by today, maybe 2 million man hours is also played at the site. And there are some countries visiting Vint.ee. The stats was taken last year, same time, 3-month period. Estonia, China, Macau, Russia, United States, Brazil. Pretty, like, I wouldn't expect China to be here actually, but it turned out that I have this game, Komoku and Renju, and then those are really popular in China. And again, I have those tournament formats that aren't available anywhere else, so they come and play. Why am I doing it? First, 1999, after first written lines of code, I decided that this is my life. I will code. for the rest of my life. And I still feel the same today. I do not code at Pipedrive, so I need to do it off hours. And as mentioned, today I'm taking some just coding days for myself. It has opened a lot of doors for me. I have received a lot of new friends. In 2007, I was invited to Estonian Draughts Federation meeting just to present this online environment. But at the same meeting, they elected the next board members for the next 4 years. And some guy put my name up for the vote, and of course they voted me to be on this board there. So I didn't know much about the game, but I felt I had already impacted this community by providing this environment. They all can play. Extraordinary friends. I guess it was around 2010. I was walking home in Tartu from the office. I was on the street. A police van stopped beside me. A policeman jumped out of the van and came straight to me. Yo, Meikop, I accidentally closed my Vint.d account. Can you open it? I was like, okay, yes, sir. I will do it when I get home. So, actually, yeah, I guess Estonia is so small that the communities of chess players and Komoku players, they aren't big, and we all know each other, and yes. So, a lot of public speaking experience. I've been to 10 plus schools talking about mind sports, programming. I tried to be a YouTuber. It didn't turn out well because I guess the content was in Estonian and I was explaining how to play simple card games like Turak. And yeah, there is some revenue. It's not enough that I could like provide for my family. I have 4 kids, so but who knows what the future will bring. Yeah, some screenshots from YouTube channel. So I have rewritten front-end 3 times, but I know this fundamental issue that currently the site supports maybe 2,000 concurrent users. If it gets really popular, I'm screwed. I need to rewrite the backend. I'm keeping the game states, tournament states in memory in Java. Every time I need to restart the backend process, all the games break and so on. So this will be one huge project if I'm going to get there. Some ideas about new games like Breach and Scrabble in Estonian language, and to add more unique tournament systems which you can't play anywhere else online. And people have been suggesting me to go open source. I guess I need a push somewhere because I have put so much my own know-how and effort and energy into it. Going public feels like giving it all away, but probably I would benefit to open source at least some part of it. And this is it.
Very nice. I think you don't need to be afraid. We all want site like that, and it's just open source it. We won't steal it. Don't worry. So what is it? We have some questions over here already. So how did you get the project to be used by schools? So I guess it's like, did you go to each school?
No, I contacted Estonian Ministry of whatever culture and asked the contacts or asked them, how can I contact every school in Estonia? So they sent me one big Excel file with 400 rows. I took those emails and then sent it out, and the first year maybe 40 schools participated, but last year it was already 90, so it gets more popular. This year, first time, I spent 200 euros on Facebook campaign. It's running right now to advertise the event in Facebook, basically. And I can see already good traction there.
You should be careful about those Facebook ads. We already heard the tax implication. Yeah.
Okay.
So how much is the site making, if not secret? Could it pay your? Well, you already said it couldn't pay your salary, but yeah, is it secret?
It would pay my salary if I would live alone, but not with 4 kids. So, but yeah, still. Okay, what can I tell you? So I have this VIP subscription. You need to pay 9.5 euros per month to play unlimited amount of card games. And the amount of those subscribers are in hundreds, not in thousands. So do your calculation yourself.
So a few thousand euros. All right. Matt checks out. Did you do any marketing, or how did the users find the website, especially in Estonia? I guess it helps that the country is small.
Mm-hmm. Otello Federation found me through some personal contacts, but actually, and also Range-U. We have one guy in Estonia who's really known in Range-U world around the world. So basically, he advertised and then helped, and he started to organize tournaments. I mentioned I want this Vinto.ee to be a professional site, not another random gaming site.
Mm-hmm.
And I have achieved that. There have been online youth world championship in Range-U, European championship in draughts. So I'm organizing like official tournaments, and it makes it more professional. Mm-hmm. And recently I have started to put some money in marketing as well.
It sounds like a lot of it is about kind of the organization, not the games itself, right? So that the kind of the tournaments functionality,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yes, the functionality around the games.
Yeah. So do you deal and how often with DDoS?
Nope, I haven't dealt with it for 16 years. I guess I'm not popular enough.
Don't give anyone any ideas.
Yes.
And what are the top 3 most important features or popular features of your site?
Well, some of the games I mentioned, but those are popular in Estonia. But yeah, tournaments, rating systems, and the fact that now to participate in official tournaments, you need to have a public profile. So basically, you are playing with your own name. Not just random pseudonym or username. So
are those profiles somehow approved or something?
Yes.
Okay. How?
I'll get to that later.
All right. Great project. Do you want to make it profitable, or do you think it will kill the spirit?
That's the point. Vinto.ee is still alive because it wasn't built to make profit. Otherwise, we would have shut it down in 5 years, basically, when 2 of the founders lost their interest. So it's a fun hobby project, and it is profitable, but it's just not that much of money in it right now.
Mm-hmm. At least it can live on its own, right? You don't have to turn off the servers because you have to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you compete with all those free online board games, card games?
I want to differentiate from them, basically, with those official tournaments, official profiles.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And Meikop, please, what would be the karaoke song if we convince you to sing for us, I guess, today?
Today the news came out that Depeche Mode will be playing in Tallinn next August. So something from Depeche Mode.
All right, great.
Okay, thank you.
Is there, well,
okay.
any other questions? No? I think we're good. Okay, let's have a another 10-minute break, I guess. Grab a snack or something, and then let's move on to last presentation, and then we can do the cocktails right in the bar. So yeah, 10 minutes. All right. Let's move on to last talk. Let's start in 1 minute. All right, we're gonna start now. Can we move from the kitchen, please? Yes, nice. Okay. It's always good when they start to be quiet. That means they're going. All right. So as promised, we have a last speaker for today, and that's for the last, right? I guess. And yeah, fun. So it's Eva from Česko Digital, CEO actually. And fun fact about Eva, I'm not sure if fun, but definitely relatable, at least for some people, is I have a depression because of my age since my 30th birthday. I guess she's gonna explain some more. So yeah, good luck.
Yeah, thank you. Because the fun fact is that when I passed 40, I finished with the depression from my age. I'm 41. I am mom of two. You can see my two boys, Edward and Camille, and I'm very nervous because I didn't have a talk in front of them. Fortunately, they are looking for the YouTube because they were very frustrated because of the program. So it's not maybe the first or the best option, but I try to take my kids as much as I can because I try to train the environment where we are going to. I have two boys. I was a project manager almost 20 years. I was in IT later on with the business. I also had a own business as an entrepreneur with the e-commerce, also with my partner. And I want to tell you the story. I'm not sure if it's going to be fun or business. Maybe start with the business and making it fun. How my personal way could be from the profit person to the purpose person. Until 38, I was totally profit-driven person, for sure. Because when I was 18, my mom told me, you need to go to the university, you need to have a big salary, and you need to be the famous person. So this was what my mom told to me that I need to achieve to be a famous person with a big salary. I think, do you remember? Because also when you achieve 18, you need to have your driver license, and this, when you accomplish, you are the adult. I was project manager. I studied the university, ČVUT, which is the technical university. Later, I was the business project manager. Later, I also ran the own company, and later on, when my kids grown, I went to the consultancy business. When I was 38, I was back then, I was working as a consultant, IT project manager for the telecommunication company. If you know Cetin, which is the company that from the telecommunication, it's owned by PPF. And it was in the time that I was working for the company 2.5 years. I was on the very good position where a very good salary. I was very respected. I was working for the famous project for the internet. And one day I saw this quote. I remember this quote, what told me this, where is no vision, there is no future. And I thought myself that it was in a stage that in that company when I was working, there was no future for me. So I started to searching who I am when I was 38, because I had two boys. They were like 6, or I don't know, because now they are 7, almost 9. And I was looking and going deep in my soul, what I am, who I am, what I can do, so what is my competence, what I can bring to the world. And I was starting to searching what I can do, because I don't know if some of you are the project manager. In fact, you think that you do not nothing because you just manage the people, you talk to people, you motivate the people, but in fact you are only the manager or the project coordinator. So I was looking at what I can do so, and at this time, Jakub Nešetřil, who was the owner of the apiary, it was 2019, he sold this company to the Oracle, and he said, I want to also do something for the non-profit. And in that time, it was some interesting for me because it was connected with the technology. It was something new. It was something that what I can achieve my coordinator skills, and I use it. So I went to the website. There was a newsletter, and I got a newsletter. They were looking for the coordinator of the project, City Visor. I need to mention Veronika Danielova from the Pipedrive because she was one of the first volunteer working for the City Visor, and we met on the project. And after two months, I became the first employee of the Česko Digital, because Jakub was looking for someone who can be his right hand, or to be who gonna achieve his ideas. If you know, or if you work with the big names or the big founders, you know that they need to have someone who will accomplish all the ideas, right? So I was as a COO of the organization, and Česko Digital, if you know Česko Digital, we are the community of the volunteers. We do not look on the profit because we are not interested in profit. We are non-profit organization, but we are looking for the purpose. We are looking what we can achieve and how we can make the better Czech Republic. We started with the project 2019. We saw, or what Jakub saw was that on the one hand, there are many non-profit organization and also the government who need to help with the digitalization and innovation. And at the other hand, there are many people who are willing to help in their free time. It's the volunteering, we call it also expert volunteering, because expert volunteering is something how you can achieve or how you can use your skills also in your free time. So it's gonna be the good point for the, let's say, the farm project or side project, and also. So I don't want to bother you with some numbers because this is not the practical technical skills, but if you wanna have a look, what we are doing is that we accomplished almost 20 projects. Some of them you might know. If you never met the project COVID Portal, who was the website who was telling you what is the restriction for the COVID and how you can achieve in your daily life. It was done by us, also with the government. If some of you are parents, you probably might meet the project Učíme online. We help the schools with the digitalization, and we help more than 600 of schools in Czech Republic, which is almost 10% of schools in Czech Republic. And if you, for example, know, we also have been built the project Stojíme za Ukrajinou with the war in Ukraine, and it was the portal when 150 volunteers made the website with all the recommendation over the weekend. So these are some of the projects which are driven only by the purpose. Only by the purpose for the Czech or Czechia, but also the purpose for the people itself. Because the people want to feel useful even in the work, but also in their heart what they are doing. So there is this picture is that there were some border numbers, but what is important is the community, is the people. Because we are trying to help all the people with their own purpose, what they want to achieve, and how we can help with their environment. I want to tell you more about this purpose, what we gonna do, and how we make the purpose. And we, as a community, we are not looking for the profit because no, we don't care, but we are the non-profit, so we want to have the partner from another foundation and all that stuff. But we just work with the purpose of the project. So we want to solve some problem. And also we have the values, how we going to achieve the work and environment. So only what we have is the purpose of the project and the values what we have. So the values are like the frame for us, how we work together with the community between all the people. Some of the values you might know, we are going to the extreme. For example, the openness with us mean that we operate in the Slack and all the channels are open. There is no any private channel in the Slack. Even it's very hard for the people because they are not ready to be very open in of the communication. Also the collaboration. It's some of the, you might know it's the usual value, but for us it means that you really cooperate with the others, with the government, with the companies, with other people, other community. So for example, with the project Učíme Online, we brought together almost 100 companies together, and we help up to 3,000 kids with a PC because the kids didn't have the PC. So some of the values are very useful to us. We also have this discussion how we gonna make this value, how we gonna change it, how we gonna deal with it. But it's our frame where we work. I'm telling you this story because I want to tell you also my personal story, how to become from the profit person to the purpose person. Because now I'm the purpose person, and it took me only 3 years to work for the Česko Digital to understand that it's the combination between the profit and also between the purpose. And I want to tell you my experience, what I have achieved, and why it's important to looking for the purpose. I remember that someone tell you that there is a work-life balance and you need to be a very good manager in the work and you also need to cope with your kids. But I hate this work-life balance because I think we are only one person, one soul, one heart. And for me, if I work for the purpose-driven organization, it took me the authenticity. So I don't need to switch that I'm the manager at the work and I am the mom at home, but I can be only one person and I can deal with my all the values. The second for me, what is important to looking for the purpose is the integrity. Because at the end, I want to be a good person and I want to be make sure that I achieve as much as possible, not only for me, but also for my kids. So I can be sure that this integrity is what is helping me to be the good person, and working for the purpose means that I know that I try to achieve to the future of my kids. And the last one is the truthfulness. Means something is that like that you have an onion and you take the peel off, right? So if you have truthfulness, you can be really in your heart, you can be what you are, and you don't need to think that I talk to this guy and I'll tell him not the truth and all the stuff. So I can be only my person at all the time, and it helped me to be in a more freedom. And this one is what somehow cope, and how somehow if we discussed about the fun or business or fun, we believe and we try to show you it's okay that for us the profit is just the beginning. But if you combine the profit with the purpose of the people, that the people put the purpose, we believe that it is the company or the project of the future, that it will make you the bigger impact. Because we believe that at the end, it means about the impact for the people, for the better future, better life. It's looking like the tricky, that community, how the community may make it, it's something not with a profit. But this you can see the reference is that we are same company as the company looking for the profit. Because you can see that this is the guy who is working for the government. It was the digital champion. He was managing the digitalization in government. And he said that we are very effective in our work, even if we work only for purpose. And also we see that we are very save the time. So we don't need to make the number as a profit, but we are looking for the purpose, because the purpose is what makes you very fresh, what you do and how you want to achieve. And only my one recommendation is to find your purpose and be yourself, because profit will come. That's what we are sure. And if you want to check out what we have done or what we do and how you want to be also part of the our community, you can check out our profile, or you can, or we can talk later on. But as we also discuss about the profit, if you want to help us, you can support us. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Very nice. So the depression wasn't that serious at the end. So I wanted to ask actually. So is there actually no Česko Digital project that would be profitable in some way? That would be making money, or?
Basically, we don't want to be profitable as the usual way that we, for example, make the money from the companies who wants to be part of the community, because we want to have the community inclusive. So currently we do all the money from the foundation. We try to looking if some of the work what we do for the government could be paid by the government. But this is also it's a little bit difficult because the foundation from the government are very restrictive. And as we do the innovation, it's not so easy to get the money from government. But we try to do at 30% to get money from the government, because we work for them and we help them.
Makes sense. Okay. Then Martin is asking, how was the transition from COO to CEO? These roles are usually very different. As you said, COO makes others' ideas happen. So CEO needs to have their own vision. So yeah, good question.
Yeah, it was really hard to make the transition, because the story behind is that Jakub was the founder. Even I joined 2 months later. We sat also with Radka Horáková, the third co-founder, that we will be the co-founder group. But we experienced that we cannot work in this trio together. So some of the time we also have the mediation, the discussion how we can work together. So at the end we came to the conclusion that I will be the CEO and Jakub will leaving the company or going to the board. So this was one of the story that it was not so easy to move to the role the CEO. But the second point more difficult for me was that many people who came to the community came because of Jakub. And I was the leader who was leading the company. So I needed to show my personality, show my leadership, who's gonna, how I should make or move the company further. So it was very hard to connect with the people, with the new leader. Because if you know Jakub Nešetřil, he is currently on the trip over the world with his family. I'm very glad of it, but it was really hard from this situation because the Česko Digital is very connected with the leader.
I want Jakub's job rather than yours, to be honest. So this one goes kind of deep. So why are you helping an organization that's trying to control and oppress others, government basically? Why don't you help common people to achieve more decentralization and freedom instead?
We help the government because we think that government can't help itself, but we are looking to help to the public servants, because we believe that if we want to have the good government, we need to have the good people inside, because someone need to do this public servant's role. So we are focused for the competence inside of the government, and we also help where we see there is a side to helping. So for example, we do not develop some solution we put to the government and we tell them, hey, we give you our solution and we are waiting that they will achieve, they will get it and make it bigger. But we try to make the, let's say, team together. So we put the volunteers together with the people from the government. We try to show them how the project could be work in the different way. How, for example, the COVID portal has been done in 2 weeks, for example. So we think that only the learning by doing and showing the experience can help our government.
There is probably no way around government, right? You need to deal with it. Someone has to. So do people in Česko Digital work fully remote, or do you meet in person?
The community is fully remote. We use the Slack for the organization. In Slack, we have currently like 5,500 people from the beginning. The core team, because we have like 10 people as a fully job, we try to meet in person once in 2 weeks. But in general, we try to follow all the rules as a full remote, because some of the volunteers are not only from Czech Republic but another ones. So we try to follow the remote one, which means that we are really looking how we can deal with the conflicts where the people only write information, don't want to talk, because we have the people from marketing on one hand, and on the other hand the people from the programmers, and it's very somehow hard to connect together and to put them to the one table. So we try to be as a remote, but some of the time it's need to meet in person. Even we have this the core team, they are from Prague or also from Brno and Boskovice. So we try to at least once in 2 weeks to meet in person.
Nice. I'm pretty sure who's the Vero, because she's saying, thank you very much, Evie. You're a huge inspiration and my personal star. How can we in Pipedrive help you?
I don't want to say to help me, but to help better Czechia. I would be very glad if I can invite you to our community, because I think that we have many projects where you can join. Even you have 1 hour per week or 2 hours per week. So it's up to you if you wanna join us and try to be part of some of the projects.
Yeah, I bet there's plenty of smart heads around to join some of those. How to avoid politicians politicizing and getting credit? Yeah, I remember actually about the COVID site, right? Top 09 was kind of yeah, using it a lot. I'm not sure if they were involved a lot or not, but yeah, that's true. How do you avoid that somehow?
I'm not sure if it's possible to avoid politicians. For us, the business part and on the side of the government are the public servants. And we also at this time, as we are a 3 years old organization, we are trying to make some deep interview also with the politicians, how they can see that the technology could help the government. So we think that it's better to talk to them rather than avoid them. But also we try to work for the public servants and also talk to all the people who are ready to work for the better Czechia.
So you're basically kind of not trying to avoid it. You count on them taking a bit of credit because you work with them.
Yes, and also we talk to them as a dialogue because they are part of this topic, part of the issue.
Okay, so you mentioned you have done so far almost 20 projects. What is the one you are the most proud of and why? What project you think you could have done better and why?
I hate this question because I don't want to present one of the projects. From me could be Česko Digital itself, because we currently have the turnaround like 12 million crowns per year, which is very, let's say, it's difficult to get the money. So for me personally is that we are able to make the partnership with the technology companies who want to support us even for money. So this is what is getting me very happy with the organization. From the project, I don't want to mention any projects because for me every single project, even the project is not successful, is the part of the project, and important was the way how we achieved the project, not the results itself.
So it's like with kids, you can't have the favorite one. They say at least. So what is the most difficult about cooperation working for the government?
Do not have an expectation, I think. Because if you don't have expectation to government, you can be very happy that some of the movements are making better. And also I think that what is important is they say that even the politicians and the public servants are people, same with us. And even they have some motivation, we can see that they also want to do our Czechia better. But I think it's somehow it's difficult to understand there is the good thing how they want to move something. So no expectation is good to have it.
Okay, and the last one is about slide with the QR codes. There is too many of them, but I think people can just Google Česko Digital and they'll get whatever they need, right? Anyway.
You can get it here. I'm also not sure why we have so many QR codes, to be honest, because
I was one page.
I was testing it because I use it from our the brand manual for presentation. I'm not sure, but if you can check it or you just put it Česko Digital, there is the button join us, and yeah, we invite you.
Yeah, that should be the easier option. I think that's it for the questions, right? Is there any more in Slido? Anyone here have a question? Oh, nice.
So most of the people working with you are volunteers, right? So do you find it more difficult to organize the work because they do it usually in their free time, and besides that they have their own jobs? Is that so?
I think it's definitely more difficult because you can't tell them, hey, do this one in the time. So we can motivate them and tell them, hey, this could be a good idea that if you will do this one, you will achieve this project. So we can't force them to do something. We need to be very focused for the motivation and the motivation inside of the people. Also, we want to let's say promote in Czechia that the expert volunteering should be something not from your personal time but from your work time, because we believe that if the people work for the project with a purpose, it will give you different perspective of the way, and it will give you a different idea what you can also achieve your work. So we don't want to make any other volunteers, because we can also see if the people wanna help in their free time. We can also, let's say, create the volunteers with the burning, right? Because it's very, for me, it's very responsible to not to put people, there is the purpose what you need to go in, but you need to tell them, hey, you achieve a lot, go and take a rest and maybe go back to the community in 3 years or whatever. So from this perspective, it's very hard, but it's also very inspirative, because if you see the people are inside the community, they are the different in the work time. So we can see that they motivation, we can see what they want to achieve, how they want to be more successful. And also we put them that they can also try the new roles. They can try what they really want to achieve, what they didn't have a chance to work. So it's somehow combining something, but it's definitely more difficult. But we try to make smaller tasks for the achievement, because you have some time for the volunteering. And we also do not tell them, hey, you did not achieve, you cannot go to another task. So we need to work only with the positive motivation. Thank you.
All right. Do we have any more questions? Oh, one more. Nice.
Hi. No, that's really interesting. I've actually got 3 questions, and they can be really quick answers.
Okay.
I think. First is, where do you get your projects from? Do they come from the government? Or is it something that you get
The-
from the community?
They are coming usually from the community,
Okay.
because we try to motivate the people to come with any idea what they want, and we try to connect the people together with the same idea. Some of the projects for the war in Ukraine, they were purely come from the community. Some of the projects, for example, COVID portal, it was the discussion with the government, because I met Vladimir Zuril, who was the digital champion. So we talk a lot and often and discuss what's gonna be our common project. So let's say like 10 or 20% could come from the government, but 80% is purely from the community, because we believe in people, that they know what needs to be done.
Okay, good. You just answered the third question as well, which was, does the government also provide? The second one, how do you qualify them?
How what?
How do you qualify a project?
Qualify?
What gets you interested in a project?
Is the project is from community? For us, it's important there is someone who take the responsibility for the project. So we use some agile principles. So we put him the role as a product owner, and it's up to him how he gonna achieve this project. Also, some of the projects what we made with the government, it was some rough estimation, is that the project needs to have the purpose, need to have an impact for the whole Czechia, and there is no alternative in the profit way. Because, for example, there were some NGO who came to us and tell us, we want to develop some CRM, but we don't have money. So we told them that, but we are not the agency who gonna develop something for free. So you should please go to your market and take the CRM. Right?
Would you develop something like which had global impact, or only Czech impact?
We are focused for Czechia because some of the projects are very specific. Now we are making the connection also with the global, because we are part of the association Civic Tech of all, which is all the civic tech organization, how we call in the global. But it's quite hard, because there are the specific local problems. And for example, if you see that the education is the problem everywhere, even the system or what are the achievements, it's a little bit different. But we are looking how we can deal in. And I can also mention that there was an activity, it's called Global Commit. It's coming from the civic tech organization called for Romania. And they are looking how they can prepare the infrastructure for all this idea from the technical perspective. So it's making the bigger or the connecting this organization together, this civic tech. But for example, in US, there is an organization called for America, and they are 10 years old in US, and they become like 100 million of US dollars to making some big movement in the government. So in Czech Republic, we are very young, apart if we compare with the US.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. If you have any more questions, I guess we can just grab Eva
Yes.
after the talk, and we can, just so we can move on to those cocktails that I promised. But yeah, thank you again.
Thank you very much.
And just a few words at the end. Big thanks to all the speakers. It was great. I think it was very great actually this time. How do I switch it? Yeah. So be sure to join us on the meetup.com, so you don't miss those next meetups that we have over here. And also we put a lot of effort into our engineering blog, and there's plenty of people writing some interesting stuff there. So yeah, check it out. Plenty of interesting stuff. And follow us at live at Pipedrive. Probably there's going to be some posts from this evening as well, so you might see yourself there. And yeah, let's move on to that Narnia bar and have some cocktails, everyone. And yeah, everyone on stream, ciao, ciao.